I wonder if you have some reflections on that, or tell us a little bit about how you go about selecting an artist, thinking about how that you're making a commitment to that somewhat of an unknown, or perhaps when you've selected, you've gone internationally to look for artists. So how do you match up what you're looking for with a project?
So there's two versions of it. So the public art, mandated public art process, which I think is worth discussing, because it means that we all have to do it, and you get more public art that way. But that process is much more formalized, where you create a selection committee made up of the developers. Only one vote on that committee, and you bring in independent third parties, normally artists, a number of artists and art consultants, and then you study the context, the building, the land, whatever you have, and you come up with 2 or 3, if you can, locations to put things, including on the building. In Vancouver's public art program, you can't put things in the building unless you can show that that's open to the public, which is an interesting kind of hybrid of it. And then you go out and there's public art consultants. There's quite a few of them around actually, and they help you select a short list. And yes, you do very often go international. And then you go through a selection process, and you pick one, the other ones get paid, so it's a respectful process. And then you get into the whole budgeting, and another huge part of the risk, not just social risk, is technological risk. If you're using lighting or things that move or things that spray water, you have to really think it through, and then we get to an outcome. And very often we do a number of our art installations. Most of them are international artists actually. If we're just doing it ourselves, it's more just what do we know and what do we like, and what Bill was saying, and who do we know from the other ones we've already done. And then going through a similar process, but just on our own initiative versus being governed, and I much prefer that. I think it leads to less kind of art by committee outcome, but if not everybody does it. A lot of developers, particularly in today's economic climate, are going to go scratch that from the budget because they can't afford it, or it doesn't make sense. So I actually do like it when it's mandated, but I think the processes could be a little more fluid, and they could trust a bit more in the developers opposed to having such a kind of committee process.
I think when it's